All right, let's talk now about the business operation that was FTX and how Sam Bankman-Fried armed his business with a cheat code of unlimited customer cash in order to make FTX look more successful than it actually was. Let's bring in now Bloomberg's David Gura and Zeke Fox. Zeke, of course, is the author of the book Number Go Up: Inside Crypto's Wild Rise and Staggering Fall. David, take it away.
Katie, thanks so much. Zeke, you were in the courthouse behind me. We had a fascinating conversation about what you and Max Chafkin have uncovered. And going into today's sentencing, what the defense kept saying was fundamentally there is no loss. There is this argument that things went wrong, Sam Bankman-Fried made some mistakes, but fundamentally the business itself was sound. What did you and Max discover about that in the course of your reporting?
Yeah, I mean, Sam's been treating this like it's a kind of trump card. Even today, when he was speaking to the judge who's about to sentence him, he tried to say, hey, the money was never missing. And that totally disregards the evidence that's come out about FTX. And what we found was that really the fraud started very early on, within a few months of when they opened the exchange.
I wanted to ask you about what Sam Bankman-Fried said and didn't say. I think that there was a lot of speculation that because he didn't express much remorse during the course of the trial, if any, he didn't explicitly express remorse in the sentencing document, sentencing memo as well. He might do it today. And there was, correct me if I'm wrong, a sense that he might be headed in that direction at the start of his testimony today.
Yeah, I mean, he stood up. He seemed like he was ad-libbing, and he started addressing his former colleagues, something that he hadn't really talked about so much, the people close to him whose lives have been ruined by this. And he spoke about each of them and some of the great things that they had done running FTX or helping him build FTX. And it seemed like he might be saying he was sorry for doing something to undo that. The problem was he just can't cross the line of saying, I am sorry that I committed a crime, he always falls back on, I made mistakes were made, but the money's still there, the customers are gonna get paid back, and it was an error in judgment, but he's not saying, I'm sorry that I committed crimes. And it's something that the judge cited before reading out the sentence.
Yeah, that passive voice of mistakes were made. I want to ask you about how the defense regarded the potential sentence as it was unfolding. So Mark Mukasey, a new lawyer for Sam Bankman-Fried, replacing Mark Cohen, who did represent him during the course of the trial. What did you make of the way that he presented him? There was, as I sort of read along, again, you were in the courthouse, a lot of familiar tropes. He's a math nerd. He has difficulty engaging with people. He has this ahedonia. He can't feel happiness. What did you make of how he was presented in the minute that we have left here?
It was a pretty moving speech about Sam's background, his childhood, and he had this punchy one-liner where he said that Sam wasn't, some sort of evil genius. He was a math nerd. He wasn't motivated by greed. He was motivated by numbers. But the government, when it was the prosecutor's turn to speak, totally flipped that on them and said, yeah, we weren't saying he was some kind of monster. We were saying he calculated the odds and decided the odds were in his favor to break the law, and that's why he committed these crimes.
30 seconds we have left. Just picking up on that, we heard from Nick Rose, the prosecutor. He said he stole $8 billion. He really wanted to emphasize that in the course of his closing remarks.
Yeah, I mean, he's saying that recovering the money is no defense. The fraud was taking this customer money, which again, they started doing very early on, and spending it on speculative investments. Just if those investments paid off, it doesn't negate that the theft occurred.